Next, we will discuss about indirect proofs. So what is the difference between direct proofs and indirect proofs? In case of direct proofs, we will take the premise and after derivation of application of some axioms and previously proven theorems, we proved that conclusion is true. But in case of indirect proofs, we will take in reverse way. That is the difference between direct proofs and indirect proofs. So proof by contraposition. This is one of the methods of indirect proofs. So in case of proof by contraposition, if we want to prove that P implies Q is true, it is enough we prove that negation Q implies negation P is true, because we know that P implies Q is logically equivalent to negation Q implies negation P. So whenever we want to prove the theorem P implies Q using contraposition, it is enough if we prove that negation Q implies negation P is true. That means first we will assume negation Q as true, and after application of axioms and some logical equivalences, we should prove that negation P is also true. That is about proof by contraposition. See one example. If given n is an integer and 3n plus 2 is odd, then n is odd. So here we will assume P as 3n plus 2 is odd. That is taken as P. Assume Q as n is odd. So normally we want to prove that P implies Q is true. As it is contraposition, we have to prove that negation Q implies negation P. That means we should assume that n is even, and after taking n is even, we should prove that 3n plus 2 is even. So first consider n is even. So if n is even, by the definition of even integer, n can be expressed as n equal to into some k, where k is an integer. Now we have to prove that 3n plus 2 is even. So consider 3n plus 2. That equal 3 into, in place of n, substitute 2k here. 3 into 2k plus 2. That equal 6k plus 2. Take 2 as common, 3k plus 1. It is in the form of multiple of 2. So we proved that 3n plus 2 is even. So according to proof by contraposition, we proved that if n is even, then 3n plus 2 is even. In this way, we can prove by contraposition. Take one more example. If x square plus 6x minus 5 is even, then x is odd. So consider this as P. X is odd as Q. So we know that first negation Q is true. So first we should assume that x is even. So if x is even, by the definition of even integer, we can write as x equal 2 into some k, where k is some integer. Now consider x square minus 6x plus 5. So consider x square minus 6x plus 5. So in the equation, wherever x is there, substitute with 2k. Then we will get 2k whole square minus 6 into 2k plus 5. That equals 4k square minus 12k plus 5. So it can be written as 4k square minus 12k plus 4 plus 1. 5 can be written as 4 plus 1. From the first three parts, take 2 as common. So if you take 2 as common, we will get 2k square minus 6k plus 2 plus 1. If we assume this as y, it is in the form 2 into y plus 1. So it is clear that x square plus 6x plus 5 is odd. So using proof by contraposition, we proved that if x is even, then x square plus minus 6x plus 5 is odd using proof by contraposition. Take one more example. We want to prove that if x is irrational, then 1 by x is also irrational. Using proof by contraposition, we have to prove it. So what we have to prove is, if x is irrational, then 1 by x is irrational. So this thing we have to prove. First you assume P as x is irrational. Assume Q as 1 by x is irrational. So assume P as x is irrational, Q as 1 by x is irrational. We want to prove negation Q implies negation P. That means we have to prove that by taking 1 by x is rational, we should prove that x is also rational. So suppose 1 by x is rational. So in previous slides we discussed about the definition of rational number. So every rational number should be expressed in the form of P by Q, where denominator is non-zero. So by the definition of rational number, we can express 1 by x as 1 by x equal P by Q, where Q not equal to 0. From this we can also say that P is also not equal to 0. How can we are saying that P is non-zero? What will happen if P equal to 0? If P equal to 0, 0 by anything is 0. Then 1 by x will become 0. If you take left side multiply, it will become 1 equal to 0, which is contradiction. Hence, we can say that P is also non-zero. So, as we assumed that 1 by x is rational, 1 by x can be expressed as P by Q, where Q is non-zero and P is also non-zero. Now, consider x. X can be written as 1 by x. We can write the same thing, 1 by x. So 1 by, what is 1 by x? P by Q. So 1 by P by Q. It is nothing but Q by P. So we know that both P is non-zero, Q is non-zero. So we proved that x is expressed in the term of Q by P, where denominator is non-zero. That means we can conclude that x is rational. Hence, by using proof by contraposition, we proved that if 1 by x is rational, then x is also rational. So this is example for proof by contraposition. Take one more example. If n is odd, then n cube plus 5 is odd. No. If n cube plus 5 is odd, then we prove that n is even. So here assume P as n cube plus 5 is odd, n is even as q. So we should prove that negation q implies negation p. That means by taking n is odd, we should prove that n cube plus 5 is even. So we assume that n is odd. So by the definition of odd integer, n can be expressed as 2 into k plus 1. Now what we have to prove? N cube plus 5 is even. So consider n cube plus 5. What is n? 2k plus 1 whole cube plus 5. 2k plus 1 whole cube means a plus b whole cube. So what is the formula for a plus b whole cube? A cube plus b cube plus 3ab square plus 3a square b. So after applying that formula, we will get like this. 2 into 4k cube plus 6k square plus 3k plus 3, which is a multiple of 2. So as nq plus 5 is a multiple of 2, we can say that nq plus 5 is even. So all these are examples for proof by contraposition. Now we will discuss about proof by contradiction. So how we will prove proof by contradiction? If we want to prove that P implies Q is true, by taking Q in reverse way, we will say that it is a contradiction. So here what we are showing, if 3n plus 2 is odd, then n is odd. We have to prove that n is odd, but we will take in reverse way. That is, assume n is even. Assume n is even. So if n is even, by the definition of even integer, n can be expressed as 2 into k. So now consider 3 into n plus 2. So that equal 3 into 2k plus 2. That equal 6k plus 2. Take 2 as common. If you take 2 as common, we will get 3k plus 1. As it is a multiple of 2, it is clear that 3n plus 2 is even. So we prove that 3n plus 2 is even, which is contradiction, because we already know that 3n plus 2 is odd. But here we prove that 3n plus 2 is even, which is contradiction. So why this contradiction occurs? Because of our assumption that n is even, this contradiction occurs. Hence, we can say that n is not even. That means n is odd. So this is one of the examples for proof by contradiction. See one more example. What we have to prove that if given n is odd integer, then n plus 11 is even. So we assume P as n is odd integer, Q as n plus 11 is even. So what we have to prove, we will take in reverse way. That is, suppose n plus 11 is odd. So if n plus 11 is odd, by the definition of odd integer, we can write as n plus 11 equal 2 into some integer k plus 1. Take this 11 to right side. Then we will get n equal 2k minus 10. Take 2 as common. If you take 2 as common, we got k minus 5. It is a multiple of 2. So it is clear that n is even. But already we know that n is odd. But we got that n is even, which is contradiction. Why this contradiction occurs is because of our assumption that n plus 11 is odd. Hence, our assumption is wrong. So we can say that n plus 11 is even. So this is one more example for proof by contradiction. Next one is proof by counter example. So far methods, all the methods are used for proving that theorem is true. But here proof by counter examples are used to prove that the given condition is false. So for disproving the theorems, we can use proof by counter example. See one example. See the first one. Disprove the proposition the product of any two odd integers is a perfect square. Proof by counter example means we should take at least two elements for which the condition will become false. Here we take m equal to 3 and n equal to 5. Here both are odd integers. Take the product. M into n equal to 15. 15 is not a perfect square. What is a perfect square? For example, 4 is a perfect square because 4 can be written as 2 square. 9 is a perfect square. It can be written as 3 square. In that way. Here, product of two odd integers we got as 15, which is not a perfect square. Hence, m equal to 3 and n equal to 5 is counter example for the given statement. See one more example. What we have to prove is sum of any two perfect squares positive integers is perfect. That we have to prove. For example, take m equal 9, which is a perfect square because 9 can be written as 3 square. Take n equal 4, it can be written as 2 square. So both given numbers are perfect squares. What is their sum? M plus n equal 9 plus 4, which is 13. So here even if we take two perfect squares, but their sum is not a perfect square. So 9 and 4 is one counter example for the given statement. Next, we are going to discuss about various proof methods. So now we are going to discuss one example on proof by cases. Here one problem is there. If let given n is an integer, then n cube plus 3n plus 5 is an odd integer. That we have to show. Here we have two possible cases. One is n is even and another is odd. So we have to prove that n square plus 3n plus 5 is an odd integer by considering two cases. One is n is even and another is n is odd. We should prove that n square plus 3n plus 5 is odd. We have to prove by using two cases. One is n is even and n is odd. First case is n is even. So if we assume that n is even, we can write n as 2 into k. Now consider n square plus 3n plus 5. That equal, in place of n, substitute 2k. So 2k whole square plus 3 into 2k plus 5. That means 4k square plus 6k plus 5. That equal 4k square plus 6k plus 5 can be written as 4 plus 1. 4 plus 1. From the first three parts, take 2 as common. So 2k square plus 3k plus 2 plus 1. It is in the form 2 into k plus 1. It is in that form. So by the definition of odd integer, it is clear that n square plus 3n plus 5 is odd. Therefore, n square plus 3n plus 5 is odd. So for the case of n is even, we prove that n square plus 3n plus 5 is odd. Now we prove for n is odd. N is odd. So by the definition of odd integer, we can write n as 2 into k plus 1. Now consider n square plus 3n plus 5. That equal 2k plus 1 whole square plus 3 into 2k plus 1 plus 5. That equal, it is in the form a plus b whole square. Expand like a square plus b square plus 2ab. That equal 4k square plus 1 plus 4k plus 6k plus 3 plus 5. That equal 4k square plus 4k plus 4k plus 6k 10k, 4k square plus 10k plus 5 plus 3 plus 1 9. So we can write like this, 2 into 2k square plus 5k plus 4 plus 1. Because if we expand this statement, we get the above statement, 2 into 2k square plus 5k plus 4 plus 1. It is equivalent to above statement. This is in the form 2 into k plus 1. So which is odd. So here also we proved that n square plus 3n plus 5 is odd. So for both n is even and both n is odd, we proved that n square plus 3n plus 5 is odd. We proved for n is even, we proved for n is odd, Next, one more example. Prove that if n is an integer, then n square greater than or equal to n. So the condition to be proved is n square greater than or equal to n. Here given n is an integer. Integer may be either a positive integer or negative integer, may be 0. Generally we may think that 0 is positive, but 0 is neither positive nor negative. It is a non-negative. So here we have to take three cases. One is n is 0, positive, negative. For example, first case is n equal to 0. Then 0 square will be 0. So 0 greater than or equal to 0. Condition clearly holds. See the second case. N is positive. Positive means we can write like this. N greater than or equal to 1. Multiply both sides with n. So we will get n into n greater than or equal to n into 1. That means n square greater than or equal to n. So for n equal to positive case also, we proved that n square greater than or equal to n. Now third case is n is negative. So if n is negative, if the square, it will be positive. So in that case also, we proved that n square greater than or equal to n. So in this example, n is integer means for all the possible cases, we have verified the condition. That is, n is positive, n is negative, and n is 0. For all the cases, we proved that n square greater than or equal to n. Next, see one more example. We have to prove that mod xy equal to mod x into mod y, where x and y are real numbers. So what we have to prove? Modulus of xy equal to modulus of x into modulus of y. This we have to prove. Here x and y are given as real numbers. We have four cases. First one is x is positive, y is positive. That is one case. X positive, y negative, one case. X negative, y positive, one case. X negative, y negative. All these are the possible cases. For all these cases, we have to prove that modulus of xy equal to mod x into mod y. We know the definition of mod x. Mod x will be x when if x is positive. That equal to minus x if x is negative. That is the definition of modulus of x. Now see the first case. X positive, y positive. So as both x and y are positive, modulus of x will be equal to x, modulus of y equal to y. Now consider modulus of xy. As both x and y are positive, x into y is also positive. That's why by the definition of modulus, modulus of xy is equivalent to x into y. So as x equal to modulus of x, we can write mod x into mod y. So for the first case, both x and y are positive, we proved that modulus of xy equals mod x into mod y. See the second case, x is positive, y is negative. As x is positive, modulus of x equal to x. As y is negative, modulus of y equal to minus y. Now consider modulus of xy. See, modulus of inside modulus, x is positive, y is negative. So its product is negative. That's why modulus of xy can be written as minus of xy. We can write minus of xy as x into minus y. Meaning doesn't change. So here instead of x, we can write modulus of x. In place of minus y, we can write modulus of y. Hence, modulus of xy equal to mod x into mod y. So for second case also, we proved that modulus of xy equal to mod x into mod y. Now see the third condition. What is the third condition? X is negative, y is positive. In that case, modulus of x will be minus x, modulus of y equal to y. Now consider mod xy. As x is negative, product is also negative. So modulus of xy can be written as minus of xy. That equal, we can write as minus x into y. Minus x is nothing but modulus of x into y means modulus of y. So here also we proved that modulus of xy equal mod x into mod y. So for third case also we proved that modulus of xy equal mod x into mod y. Now we have to prove for fourth case, that is x is negative, y is negative. So modulus of x equal to minus x, modulus of y equal to minus y. Now consider modulus of xy. As both are negative, result will be positive. So modulus of xy can be written as x into y. It is equivalent to minus x into minus y. As both the minus will gets cancelled, it is equivalent to above statement. So in place of minus x, we can write modulus of x. In place of minus y, we can write modulus of y. Hence, we proved that modulus of xy equal mod x into mod y. So here in all possible cases, that is both x and y are positive, x is positive, y negative, x negative, y positive, both negative. In all cases, we proved that modulus of xy equal mod x into mod y. So this is one example by proof by cases. Next we will discuss about exhaustive proofs. So what is exhaustive proof? So some theorems can be proved by examining a relatively small number of examples. That means it is a special kind of proof by cases. So exhaustive proof is nothing but proving the theorem by taking small number of examples. That means almost it is similar to proof by cases. So here take one example, n plus 1 whole cube greater than or equal to 3 power n, where n is a positive integer with n less than or equal to 4. Positive integers with n less than or equal to 4 means we should prove for n equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. For all these conditions, we have to check whether this condition satisfied or not. See n equal to 1, then n plus 1 whole cube equal to 8, 3 power 1 means 3. 8 cube, 8 greater than or equal to 3. So for n equal to 1, condition satisfied. Now take n equal to 2. 2 plus 1, 3 cube means 27, 3 square means 9. So second case also 27 greater than or equal to 9. Now take n equal to 3. 3 plus 1, 4 cube means 64, 3 cube means 27. So n equal to 3 also condition is satisfied. So for n equal to 4, 125 greater than or equal to 81. So for all the possible cases, the condition is satisfied. So this is one example for exhaustive proof. So this is also similar to proof by cases. By examining small number of cases, we can prove the theorem. Next to existence proof. So a proof of the form there exists x p of x is called existence proof. That means it is related to existential quantifier. So if we want to prove the existence proof, we should prove the theorem for at least one element. Then it is satisfied. This is about existence proof. See one example. Show that there is a positive integer that can be written as sum of cubes of positive integers in two different ways. When can we say that it is true? As it is an existence proof, for at least one element, the condition must be satisfied. So take one number 1729. It can be written as sum of cubes of numbers in two different ways. One is 10 cube plus 9 cube, and another way is 12 cube plus 1 cube. In this way, we have found a number which can be written as sum of cubes of numbers in two different ways. So by existence proof, the theorem is satisfied. Next one is uniqueness proof. So in case of uniqueness, there will be two parts. First one, we should prove that an element will exist. Second part is uniqueness. That means if there is a solution, it will be unique. That means if we find any one more solution, that should be equal to first solution. So in case of uniqueness, there will be two parts. First we should prove that solution exists. Second, we should prove that the existing solution is unique. This is about uniqueness proof. So far we have discussed about proof methods. Now we will discuss about proof strategies. First one is forward reasoning. So what is forward reasoning? Whichever method, whether we are applying direct method or indirect method. We are starting with conditional statement, we are starting with premise, and after application of axioms, previously proved theorems, we are proving the conclusion. This method is called as forward reasoning. So by starting with the premise and after application of axioms and some previous theorems, we should derive the conclusion. This method or this approach is called as forward reasoning. Next one, backward reasoning. Sometimes it is not possible to solve the problems using that method. In that case, we can use backward reasoning. That means from backward, we should prove the theorem. Consider one example. Take any two positive real numbers x and y. Their arithmetic mean is nothing but x plus y by 2 and their geometric mean is square root of xy. We know that arithmetic mean is always higher than geometric mean. So using backward reasoning, we can prove it. So backward means what are the conditions we have to prove? By taking this condition, we will prove the theorem. What we have to prove? X plus y by 2 greater than root xy. That we have to show. X plus y by 2 greater than root xy. By taking this, we should prove that it is true. Taking square on both sides, we will get x plus y whole square by 4 greater than xy. Cross multiply both sides, we will get x plus y whole square greater than 4 into xy. It is in the form a plus b whole square. Explain that formula. X square plus y square plus 2xy greater than 4xy. Take 4xy to left side. Then it will become x square plus y square minus 2xy is greater than 0. It is in the form a square plus b square minus 2ab. It is nothing but a minus b whole square. So it can be written as x minus y whole square is greater than 0. As it is a square, it is clear that for any values of x and y, this condition is true. Hence, we can say that x plus y by 2 is greater than root xy. So this is an example for backward reasoning. So in case of backward reasoning, what we have to prove? That condition we will take and we will prove that it is true. So this is example for backward reasoning. So by this, end of the unit is completed. Thank you.